We're live. We're live.
We're live again. It's Thursday. Happy
Stopping.
Thursday. Happy
Happy
Thursday.
Thursday.
All right, you talk for a minute.
What are you eating, Honoree? What is that? Is it a
Mm,
perfect bar? It looks perfect.
I'm eating a perfect bar.
You hear this? Perfect. Are you seeing this sponsorship? Anyone?
Well, so Perfect Bar LLC, San Diego, California. I
Nice.
started eating these when I found them at Starbucks.
Oh, you bought them? You buy them at Starbucks, or
I
you
don't.
bought
I
yours
buy
one?
them at my grocery store, but Starbucks was the first place. It's always a place we stop on our travels because they have a clean bathroom and also a pup cup, right? Obviously, it's all about Rogue. So, um, I'm always looking for something when I'm traveling that doesn't make me retain water, like all the salt, and is like super caloric, and it's very easy and tempting to go through a drive-through, and then I have immediate remorse.
Right.
So I tried these perfect bars, and the one I like the best is the dark chocolate chip peanut butter,
Mm.
and it doesn't upset my stomach, and it doesn't have any salt in it, so I don't retain water. It's peanut butter, so it's got that fat and protein
Hmm.
combination, which makes me feel full. Also, it's got a little chocolate chip on there.
Hey now.
I'm never upset with a chocolate chip showing up somewhere,
Nope.
popping into my mouth.
Yep.
And so now I get them as I've just been so busy.
Yeah.
I've just been so busy, and I thought, well, I need a way to make good choices all the time. So I just buy boxes of them at the grocery store and keep them in the refrigerator. And I have two sizes. I have the full size bar, which is this, because this is my lunch today.
Mm.
And then, because as soon as we're done with this live, I get right in the car and I'm gone all day till supper time, which means at some point I'm going to get homicidal. If I don't, if I'm not, if I haven't nourished myself, like something could happen.
That's
And so
funny.
I'm just trying to make a positive choice. And so there's my buddy Renee.
What's up, Renee? Is she
Hola.
is she commenting? Oh, I know it's happening.
Oh, she just said hola.
I see
Hola,
it.
friends. Yes, because where she's from in Ohio, they speak Spanish. Not really.
Fluent.
I'm sure someone there speaks Spanish. Um, so anyway, that's why I'm eating a perfect bar is because we had exactly 2 minutes, and so I thought, well, I'm going to just throw something down my gullet
Yes.
so that
Well,
the homicidal tendency goes away.
yeah, we can't have that. I don't know what it is about food. Tammy's the same way. She is an absolute maniac if she doesn't eat. She's like the sweetest person alive. And then she
Hmm.
skips like she misses a meal by an hour, and it's like hide all the weapons in the house. Don't talk to anyone you care about that you want to like don't want to have to apologize to later. Like all the things. Just have to.
Is she hypoglycemic?
Not really. I mean, she does have some blood sugar sensitivities, so
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure. Let me rephrase that. Yes, she is. She is. She's very sensitive to blood sugar.
Mm.
Whether she like tests as hyperglycemic, I'm not positive, but she's had some, especially after the kids. Kids did something crazy to her blood system. I don't know.
Hmm. It's always the
Yeah,
children.
I blame them for everything. Renee, she said she might be in the car at the same time. Hey, maybe you're driving to meet Honoree somewhere. Just keep driving, Renee.
Oh,
Just keep driving.
that would be so nice. No, I get to see her next week though.
Oh, very
She's
nice.
coming to Nashville for a little book launch party.
Oh, she's gonna be
She's
there.
actually coming because she was just coming to visit. To be to full disclosure, I did offer to have the party when she was not in Nashville, so it did not become like a huge distraction for
Mhm.
us just hanging out. And she wanted to be here for the party. She's not coming for the party. The party is being held so that she can come.
Okay, there you go. That makes sense.
Full disclosure. Yes, I'm very excited because she's my bestie and I don't get to see her very often. And so she is coming down and we are going to have a party and have a good time.
Excellent.
So Yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit about why at the end of the episode. So if you're,
Yeah.
there's your hook, guys. Be intrigued. You have to stick around to find out why there's a
Stick
party.
around. That's right. That's right.
So what's been going on in your world?
Well, I've finished all my nonfiction projects. So they're not all done and published. They are just all done and in various parts of production. So now I'm working on the fiction.
Oh, yeah.
And I see Wayne popped up in Egypt. Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Wayne.
Thinking about you, buddy. Keep your head down.
Yeah.
A little lively.
Stay safe.
Yeah, a little lively over there right now. So, yeah, you've been, so Honoree and I talk daily,
At
least once a day. And we're both like super hyper nerds about talking about what we're writing and what we're reading. So we talked a little bit about the writing. And again, we can't say too much because we got some top secret stuff happening.
Top secret.
In Honoree's writing world. But that's the attitude, Wayne.
That's Renee.
Oh, I got the stupid button is killing me. There we go. That's the one I was trying to look at. Look out, Nashville. That's right.
Renee's coming in hot.
She's coming in hot. Are you writing in the same genre you enjoy reading?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. And what are you reading right now?
What am I reading right now? Well, I just finished. I have to put in a plug for a book that I have finished reading because it was so good. And I want to say the man's name who wrote it accurately. I actually listened to it. It was a recommendation of John Stongi. Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. Interestingly, now I follow him in a very safe and non-stalkery way on Instagram. And he showed a little snippet of Succession where his book and his name were mentioned on the show.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's one of his favorite shows, I guess. And he was like, imagine this happening with your book.
That's awesome.
And so the book is Unreasonable Hospitality. And the gal on the show said in the clip, in Will Guidara's book, Unreasonable Hospitality, blah, 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 blah. And he had that. Can you imagine as an author, like someone mentioning your name and your book's name on a major television show?
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Or in a major movie production? I don't know. Feel free anytime. But it would be fun if you didn't know about it.
Right.
If it wasn't even something that you were like tuning in, that you just have your popcorn and your peanut M&Ms and, you know, a little hot tea and you're just sitting under a blanket on the couch. And then you're watching something and then they go, and Lucas Marino's book, Bury the Child. And you were like, wait, what? And then thank goodness it's not network television from 1976, because if you missed it, it could be years before you see it again. At least now we can review. Nevertheless, I'm now a huge fan of Will Guidara, Mr. Guidara. So I wouldn't deign to call him by his first name yet until we're actual friends. Hopefully in the near future. I really love the book and the premise of the book, which is about just going above and beyond in ways that aren't necessarily expensive or time consuming, but just in a way that lets the person that you're serving know that you matter to them in thoughtful ways. And his business until recently, I'm guessing, I'm not sure what he's doing now besides being a keynoter. So he's speaking and he has his book. So I'm not sure if he's still in the restaurant business, but this book was about EMP, 11 Madison Park, the restaurant that he owned. And the book opens somewhere near the beginning. It opens with a story of him and his partner going to this top 50 restaurants in the world banquet where they give the awards. And they were like, are we going to be in the top 10? Are we going to be in the top 5? It's going to be amazing. And they come in at number 50.
Nice.
Now, it's the top 50 restaurants in the world, but you're at the bottom of the... Now, I would be like, I'm in the top 50. I'm in the top 50. But they were really upset. And so the video of them is them looking at their shoes because they're upset about it. So everyone's giving them a hard time. And then, of course, you get to go on the hero's journey with them where they do all the things that he talks about. And I don't want to spoil it. I just want you to go get the audiobook and listen to it. I had a wonderful time listening to it. I actually have a hard copy on the way, which that's a big compliment, right? Because now we're going nuclear option. but with a highlighter, and a pen and a notebook. But what I'm reading now is this wonderful book, Service is a Superpower, by Louis Grevance. And I saw him speak at a networking event. So this is how far I am. Louis, I am on chapter 10, in case you're watching. And I saw him speak at a City Current event. So City Current's tagline is Power the Good. So it's community service underwritten by professionals who come together for the purposes of networking and masterminding and brainstorming and all that kind of stuff. I'm not a member of the group, but they have these amazing networking breakfasts several times a year. And there are like 400 people that go. I try not to miss them. So the speakers are always so good. The speaker this time was Louis, and he worked for Disney. He was a child actor. God bless you.
Thank you.
And he worked for Disney, and he just now he's a keynoter. He's a keynoter, and he's an author. And I could not get enough of his presentation. I took 2.5 pages of notes, and just magical, enlightening, thought-provoking, all the things. And so now I'm reading his book and really enjoying it. So that's what I'm reading. What are you reading?
That's amazing. I am trying to climb out of a fiction TBR that is like overwhelming me this year because there's been so much great stuff coming out. So right now I'm wrapping up the Belladonna Invitation, which I think I talked about last week. It's like an old Gothic kind of story from Rose Biggin. And I'm in 2 novellas. I chose 2 novellas instead of one other novel because I usually read 2 fiction at the same time. And I just bounce back and forth whenever I need a little taste of something different. But Lost Oblivion from Catherine Silva. She's amazing.
Oh, right. I know that name.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's a small indie press up in Maine. And her stuff is kind of like fantasy apocalyptic, but it's really kind of horror as well. And she, welcome Megan. We work together. Oh, there you go. Hi, Megan.
Hi,
Megan. Excellent. And so, yes, that is one of the books I'm reading. The other one is The Darkest Night, and it's from
wrote that?
Antonia Rachel Ward. Now, Antonia owns Ghost Orchid Press in the UK.
Okay.
And she is okay. She wrote the coolest, fun 50s like throwback book called Attack of the Killer Tumbleweeds. So much fun.
Awesome.
There's this little novella in the summer, but she's got a new novel coming out called Dreamscapes on the 23rd.
Oh.
And I'm reading.
Book launch day.
Yeah. So
book launch day.
Yeah. So I'm reading her novella that's like a kind of like a prequel to the Dreamscape launch on the 23rd. So nice. Yeah. Anyways, that's what I've been fully engulfed in those 3 books. The Belladonna Invitation being a novel, and then Lost Oblivion and Antonia's book both being novellas.
Nice. Are you reading any nonfiction?
I am, but the nonfiction I'm reading is related to a book project that someone I know is doing. So.
Oh, is it Monday's book or is it February's book?
February's book.
Oh, February's book. Have you cracked it open?
Yes.
What do you think so far?
Are we talking about it begins with note?
No. That's November.
Okay, November. Okay. But yes, I have cracked the other one open as well.
Okay.
But I just wasn't sure when you were launching it.
I need to know. I need to know what you think about it.
So right now, Honoree Quarter is my nonfiction world.
Well, I only have one. That's not true. I have two nonfictions.
Yeah.
Two. Is that right? Three.
Yeah.
Three
Yeah. There you
nonfictions to
go.
write. So I have the companion. So the November book, in case anyone cares, is the I Am a Writer notebook. It'll be a good gift stocking stuffer for although it'd have to be a big stocking because it's a big book. It's an 8.5 by 11 hardcover for all writers. And then I have You Must Monetize Your Book coming in February, and the I Must Monetize My Book workbook in conjunction with that. And then I have two other book projects that will remain unshared at this time. Yes.
Yes.
And also fiction. Just also I have a thriller serial and a rom-com that I'm working on.
Yeah, I cannot wait to hear more about your rom-com when the time is right, because I can just see that being such a great genre for you to write in.
Yeah, super fun. I like watching rom-coms, but they have to be written first. And I don't fancy myself a screenwriter. I mean, I'm not even fancying myself a fiction writer. I'm doing a collaborative project with someone. So we'll see how it turns out. It's been really fun just to talk about characters and beats and things like that. But then it could be maybe a Hallmark movie, Hallmark in case you're listening, or even a Great American Family Channel movie, maybe Lifetime, although no one, there's like each of those have a different leaning, right?
Yeah.
So, well, in terms of like with Hallmark, if people break up, it's never because somebody did drugs or cheated or something like that. It's always just a misunderstanding. It's never something egregious. But on Lifetime,
Oh my God.
it's like it's the secretary.
They hate dudes.
It's a. But you know what I'm saying? It's like genre specific. Mine would be more Hallmark / Great American Family Channel,
Right.
less Lifetime, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna have to worry about any of my books being made into movies on either of those channels.
I don't think so. Like not with kill the women and bury the children and slaughter the animals and I don't know what all your book titles.
I mean, they're close, but not quite. It's like,
burn the church down.
Yeah.
Like what else do we have?
Bury the child. Very optimistic book.
Yes.
Burn the girls.
Heartwarming,
Yes.
I think, is the first review.
Yeah. Well, heartwarming. Burn the girls. That's warm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Sleep with the Dead.
Yeah. Wonderful.
But the last one's beautiful. Bless the Mother.
Okay. All right. So you've got redemption there at the end.
Somewhat.
We've got heartwarming, cozy.
Yeah, cozy.
I'm just trying to think of all the words.
Cozy horror.
Yeah. Yeah, cozy horror. So anyway, those are all that's what I'm reading and writing and
samesies.
All the fun things.
Yeah. Well, and we get to
never get old.
And we get to talk about something that's really close to home and really fun today.
Yeah.
For those that haven't seen us talk about what a book can do for your business, this episode specifically is about having a better business because of your book, right? So I think a lot of people think, well, if I can demonstrate my authority as a leader in my industry, I can do that through a book. It'll give me instant credibility. But that's like just the tip of the iceberg kind of thinking. You don't realize like the power of that book to really help you build a better business than you could have had without it. Not just get you more business, but an actual better business.
Yeah, and better, faster, easier, more lucrative.
All the things.
All the things.
So,
as someone said, I always hear you say all the things. Like,
yeah, I think that was Helen.
Yes, as Honoree would say, all the things. Yes.
So with that premise in mind, you'd think that everyone who owns a business needs a book. Who needs a book? Who actually needs a book?
Well, so the real answer to that is anyone who has competition. If there is someone else who says, I'm an expert at this, or I do X, and you're like, well, I do X, right? Then you need a book. Have a book to hand out and you will stand out. So having a book is the thing that elevates you above the person who has a business card or a website or just about anything else.
So, I mean, I think it's really powerful. When I think about like specific cases, I would say like if you're a coach, if you're a consultant in a high dollar industry, I mean, it's kind of like the shot in the arm that can really elevate your brand, elevate your business, bring in clients who you may not have reached otherwise. It's
Would
fantastic.
never have reached them.
Um, yeah, like there's people that will call you that you're like, how did you find me? They
Yeah.
got your book.
And they don't know, just like you,
Mhm.
don't remember.
Right. Yeah. So
Right?
what exactly does this do for them? I mean, if I go and invest in this type of thing for my business, I invest the time and money to create a book. What should I expect
Yep.
it to do for the business?
Well, we have to back up a little bit and give the book a job. So I
Okay.
think a book has two jobs. The first job is without you. It's with your book, but without you, meaning I send you my book and you should be able to avoid pain, gain pleasure, duplicate results that I've gotten, make distinctions, capitalize on an opportunity, understand how something works, put a process in place, something without the author. So the first job one, job number one of a book is to help the reader.
Hmm.
It's to help them to do something or to avoid doing something. So ultimately they get a better result than they would have gotten without the book. The second job of the book is to help the reader to understand that the person who wrote the book could be their person.
Hmm.
It could be the person they want to hire or engage or refer to now or sometime in the future. It should set you apart from all the other people that are like, well, I do that. Well, I do that. I do that. And this brings me back to how I became an author in the first place, which was when Mark Victor Hansen said to me, well, what is it that you do? And I said, I'm a coach and a speaker. He said, everyone's a coach and a speaker. You must write a book. It's like you have to have something that differentiates you because otherwise you're just one of a whole bunch of people. And honestly, Lucas, when I had this conversation with him, the year I wrote my first book was 2004.
Hmm.
19 years ago. Everybody wasn't a coach and a speaker in 2004, but they are now.
Yeah.
I mean, legitimately, I will go to a networking event now. I'm the only book strategist.
Hmm.
I'm the only person who talks about writing, publishing, and monetizing a book. I used to be the only business and executive coach. So I used to say, I'm a business and executive coach. I help you to double your income and triple your time off. Now I say, I'm a book strategist and I help you to write, publish, and monetize your book. So, what a book should do for you, to circle back to that question, is it should make you money.
Hmm.
And it should make you money in all the ways that it makes sense for it to make you money. That could be simply royalties. You're going to put the book up on retail outlets in bookstores, and people are going to find it and buy it, and you're going to make book royalty income. But the real joy, at least in my mind, on the other side of the book is all of the ways it can be repurposed into other income streams. And that's where I get really excited when I'm helping someone to publish their book is how can the book be put into motion? A book in motion is money in motion. A book at rest is money at rest. And so we want to get the book into motion so that it's a revenue driver in all the different ways that is possible.
So you've termed this a better business book, right? That's what you call these projects for your clients. You're selling them a better business book.
Yep.
What makes a better business book a better business book? Like what differentiates it from any other nonfiction book?
It's a workhorse. The Better Business book is a small, so the dimensions are generally speaking 4x7. They're about 15,000 words. So they are a quick, easy to consume read. Someone is going to pick it up and feel like I can read this. And if someone can read the book, then the book can do its job. A book sitting in a TBR pile, for the uninitiated, to be read pile, if a book is sitting there and it's not being read, if it's not on the radar of the reader, they have no idea what's inside of the book. The first thing you want to think about when you're designing a book is how easy is it going to be for someone to actually consume the book? And a thick, hardcover, large book, very sexy, very impressive. And for book people like you and me, we're like, let me at it, give it to me. But for most people that are busy, they're already using all of their time. A book like that goes on the to be read pile, goes on the credenza, goes to United Way to be donated.
The credenza.
Eventually, the credenza to the library for donation, and they never get around to reading it because it's time. If someone, I mean, as an aside, if someone takes the time to read your book, boy, isn't that a big honor because it's their time.
Oh, yeah.
They took their most precious asset and sat down with your words and read your words. Huge. Which is why whenever I offer to give someone a copy of the book, I'm like, you can also say no. Because if reading isn't your thing or you don't want to read this book, if it's not interesting to you, by no means do you need to feel obligated to take it, because I am gifted books all the time that it's my job. I either read for money or I read for pleasure. And if it's not one of those piles, I'm not reading it. Life is too short. I have too many books to read. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So when someone takes the time to read your book, it's a big deal. You want people to feel like, oh, I can just consume this while I'm waiting at the doctor's office for an appointment, while I'm on a short flight business trip, while I'm, in an Uber, or, when I have a little bit of time or someone cancels an appointment, they've got your little book on hand and they go, oh, I'm going to crack this open. And if the content is compelling, they are then subject to the book doing its job, if all that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think that, when I got to work with you a bit and learn more about what goes in a book that truly serves your business, I was learning new terms, well, similar terms and familiar terms from my time as an engineer, but applied differently. Optimization. Like I was like, oh, I know what optimization is, but how does that apply to a book? Like, what's in the main content that I wasn't expecting to see? Like, how is it all structured? What does the back of the book look like? I mean, against a different nonfiction book, because coming from a technical industry, technical world, we live, eat, sleep, and breathe nonfiction publications. Right. But they're not better business books. Those technical pubs that you guys might be experiencing in your industries are also not built properly, and they're not optimized to propel the business at the center of generating that IP. And your book would do that as a better business book.
Right. So I'll talk about optimization because that's one of the terms. I coined these terms because I made them up because I wanted to give what I was doing a name.
Okay.
If anyone is thinking, well, I've never heard that talked about before, that's just because I haven't talked about it with you.
Right.
Right. Or you haven't read one of my books where I talk about it. So optimization is the commencement of the author-reader relationship. It's found in the front matter. Think of when you go to a networking event and you meet someone and you're talking and they say, what do you do? And you say, oh, I'm a course expert. And you say, oh, what do you do? I'm a book expert. It's like, ooh, we should get to know. Let's have coffee. Lucas, do you have a business card? And then you do that natural exchange.
Somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Well, now you should have a QR code. That's what all the cool.
Yeah, you just flash your phone.
You just have your phone. Download my information, my digits.
I had a guy one time walk up to me and say, I'm sorry. I had a guy come up to me one time and say, can't you just text me and tell me this is you? That was what he wanted from me instead of a business card. I was like, I'm not giving you my phone number. And what?
Right. You don't get the phone number.
He's like, just text me your name real quick. I was like, no. Anyway. Sorry.
What did you do?
I just laughed. I said, well, it's a business line. It's not going to, because I do only hand out a
right.
business.
Back when we had hard lines, right? And we would not, so nevertheless, now we're cool, Lucas. We hold up our cell phone and people download a QR code. But you would do the natural exchange of, I think I like you. I think I want to get to know you better. That's optimization. Optimization is commencing the author-reader relationship at the beginning of a book in the front matter. And then back matter, just to complete that, is monetization. or maximization. And that's when you have created trust, at least beginnings, right? Because no one reads a book and says, I know you, I like you, I trust you, here's all my money. Mm-hmm. Although it can go a long way toward doing that without question. But generally then the back of the book is where someone says, okay, I like this author. I like their personality or lack thereof. I like their knowledge. I like their, where they're coming from, their philosophy. And I want to know more. How else can I engage with them? What other publishers do, all other publishers that I've ever met, indie, hybrid, or traditional, is they're creating the author-reader relationship. They're saying, thank you for reading this book by us. Go find out more books by us, by other authors here. As opposed
they're there to sell books.
Yes. They are there to sell books. They are there to sell other books, maybe by that author, but more than likely other books like that book by other authors, which does not help the author whose book is being read. So here you have someone who's in relationship with you. They've started a relationship with you. And then it's almost like you're on a website and they go, well, thanks for coming here. We don't want to sell you anything. Go to this other website over here. Mm-hmm. It's sending the traffic somewhere else. It's like, oh, you wanted tacos? We're a pizza restaurant. Here's a menu of another restaurant. Send them to another restaurant. And so what you want your book to do is to establish the relationship, educate your reader. So if they never have another conversation with you, they are better for having done the read. But if they want more, they can get more.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Oh, hey, Jen.
Hey, Jen.
How are you? Glad to see you. We're talking about your favorite topic, books.
I'm keeping that girl busy.
That's right. Well, she's getting ready to get really busy because I'm about to start throwing chapters across the table to her. For those that don't know, Jen Pisano does proofreading and some editing work, and she's getting all kinds of fun these days.
Right.
All right. So you talked a bit about like what you could get self-publishing, what a traditional publisher's normal focus is, or even a hybrid. I guess it makes me wonder if I'm not going to one of those publishers now, what does this project look like for me? So if I'm a business owner and I want a better business book, how long is it going to take? What does the process look like? What level does it function at? Like all those things.
Sure. So I'm the only one who does the Better Business book. It's my proprietary process. So we're obviously talking about someone working with me. It's 6 months from the day we start to the day you are published, or a little sooner. Everything is included in the process. That is the ghostwriter, the editorial process, the design, the exterior design cover, all the covers, the interior design, the copywriting. And then I design a marketing plan that helps the author to monetize the book, to get their book out into the world so that they are earning royalties if appropriate and generating new streams of business from their book. Interestingly, I have a guy I did a book with about 5.5 years ago, and he's made $22 million as a result of publishing his book. And he's never sold a book and will never sell a book.
What do you mean?
He's one of 3 companies in his area. So I'm under an NDA, so I can talk about like generalities. Yeah. But he's one of 3 companies in his area, and the other 2 companies don't have a book. So he said, I want to do a book with you, because a contract is $300,000. So he said, I want to do a book with you, and I want to use it to generate business, and I'm never going to sell the book ever. So he gives it away in digital format. But he also orders copies and copies and copies and copies of it and sends it out with the salespeople. So when they're like, well, we could use XYZ company, he's like, well, you could, but you could use our company. And here's the overview of the company, how they serve people, all the things. And then there's, a call to action in the back in the monetization section. It's like, we'll come out and do an analysis for you. We'll give you a quote. And, here we are, we're ready for your money. And then there's Karen, who's keeping all of the edits in line.
There she is. I had to
Yeah.
put this one up, of course, because why not?
Why not?
Thank
Indeed.
you, Miss Karen.
Yes.
I'm gonna act like I have anything to do with that statement, when the reality is it's all Honoree. I look like Princess Leia fell in a tar
Yes.
pit.
Yeah.
I've been
Oh my
slept
God.
well. I slept in a chair. Like, let's just keep
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
it's so
That's hilarious. But yeah, so it's a 6 month, it's a 6 month initiative. I do 1 to 2 of them a month. And my clients are generally entrepreneurs, senior business professionals, people
now,
who have competition and
right.
want to as
Differentiator.
one person said, eviscerate the competition.
Yes. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I'm gonna make uh, I'm gonna note an observation about your
Okay.
Better Business books that kind of jumped out at me immediately the first time I held one, and that was that the level of quality control over those books is it's fantastic. So like I've I was just lamenting with Honoree on an earlier recording we did earlier today. Before that, we were talking about some quality control on publications and how much work goes into building quality into a Better Business book versus
Yep.
what we've seen with some traditional publishers. And I jokingly said I read a really large fiction, like very well-known fiction writer, and was taking notes the whole time about errors I was finding in their book. And I was like, this is terrible, but I knew it wasn't the writer's fault. It was the publisher who owned the book, and it's their thing, it's their product, because they are a traditionally published author, and their publisher didn't do them any favors by allowing that to happen. Essentially, um, when someone hires you to produce their Better Business book, and I've seen you go through this process with clients, kind of on the periphery.
Yeah.
I've been very impressed with the amount of time and effort you put into the quality control of this thing. Like, you really go above and beyond to make sure that every little thing is checked, double checked, triple checked,
Oh, yes.
planned, strategized. The whole thing is
Yeah.
intentional, and that there's
Yeah.
no like just like blind passing of things. There's always this multi-layer review cycle, and we don't have to share the number and the method because it is proprietary. But it's one of the things that jumped out to me, that if you haven't held one of these books or dealt with one of these projects, you wouldn't have a very good understanding of how much of that is built into your process. So I think that's a really strong strong point of your Better Business books.
Well, I appreciate that observation. And I will say that every single check I make is because and thank you. Is that Jen? Who wrote that?
I
Yeah, I
think
think
it's
that's Jen. Thank you, Jen. It's a mistake that was made. It's either a mistake I observed someone else make, but most of them, I would say 95% of the processes are because I made a mistake somewhere. There was a typo on the back cover, facepalm, right? Or the page numbers didn't match the table of contents. And every single time I discovered a mistake, I am the person that sits down and says, I never want to experience this ever again. What are 10 ways that I can make sure that I don't experience it? So more than 12.5 reviews of every single manuscript and book project. And I'm going through one right now. So I have flags on my desk and markers and highlighters so that I can send the corrections that need to be made to the designer. And that's of the physical book. The digital book has already been through editing, proofreading, my reviews. And then once the book is designed, I go through it on the screen. And it's so interesting that I see something on the screen in a different way than I see it in physical format. So anyway, that's just part of my nerdy book project process. But I really just I want to have great books that are flawless or close to flawless, and I want my clients to have books that are flawless or close to flawless that also not only are they indistinguishable from traditional publishing, I don't want someone to look at their book and go, oh, this is self-published. How cute for you, right? I want them to have a book that is a workhorse, that is indistinguishable from traditional publishing, that looks as good as the other books on the shelf, but is also intentionally and purposefully done in a way that makes them money.
Right.
Right? They need to get the juice for the squeeze. And I was talking to someone the other day and he said, I did a book with a client and he said, I didn't know what I didn't know. And he said, I see what you're doing. I really see what you're doing, because my client is making bank from that book and we didn't know what we were doing. He said, just the things you're describing to me, we don't have those things included in the book. And so he's like, I'm so happy to have met you, because there's a gap. I have a gap and I see the gap that you fill. And I'm excited about it. So I think we're going to have an opportunity to work together. So
that's great.
Cool things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I didn't do a Better Business book when I self-published my 2 previous books, nonfiction books, under the great guidance of your publishing PhD program and all the one-on-one mentorship through the Empire Builders Mastermind. So all that stuff was like my information, my guidance, all those things that went into those 2 books.
Yep.
Is something that came out of the backside of it to kind of get to your point about like that thing really contributing to their business.
Yeah.
Is that when I was done holding this book, just like a client of your Better Business book programs would, or not programs, but services, right? This is a one-on-one service. So when you hand that person that book, you're handing them a business asset that belongs to their business. And there's a big distinction between that and someone else that owns the IP rights to your book that you had published it. So if you have a traditional publisher or someone that owns the rights to your book, when it comes down to it at the end of the year, when I have to think about what assets and their values are that my business actually owns, my books are now on that list of assets with value to my business. And over time, you can point to how much business has been generated by those books, how many royalties have been generated by those books, all those things. Can you talk a little? So now with that perspective as a business owner with this great asset sitting there that I actually own for my business now, it's essentially created 2 or 3 revenue streams off one product, right? So
easily.
Right?
Yeah.
So the book itself generating revenue, like you said in the beginning, the book bringing me in service clients or even passive sales clients. That asset is working for you even when you're asleep, even when you're not present in the room,
Right.
all the things. And I actually had someone reach out to me one time and say, I bought your book, loved your book. Thank you. I'm looking at your course. I said, oh, what's different about your book than your course? And I said, well, for one, there's live Q&As in my book or in my course, and that's not attached to my book, right? So there's that kind of thing.
Access to the author, access to the creator.
That conversation would not be happening had I not had that conversation with that person. And that person was already in my network.
Yeah.
And I think this is the important part, is like, people think about this as like a new network generator. Like my book will go out and find people that I don't know yet. And that is absolutely true. It's a huge net to cast. But it also did something to my existing network when they saw this asset drop and they were like, oh, look at this. Like they got closer. Yeah.
It's an elevator. It's an elevator. So let's go back just for a second to the 4 different royalties you can earn. So people just go, oh, I'm going to put it up on Amazon. And when I talk to people who don't know anything about publishing, they'll say, so you just publish on Amazon? And I say, well, Amazon is one avenue for publishing and Amazon's reach is broad. Semicolon, however, comma. That's for you, Karen and Jen. There are other channels for distribution, and there are multiple ways you can sell your book, different ways you can have a book. So ebook, paperback, hardcover, audiobook. So those are 4 different streams that can come from multiple online retailers, or yes, you're welcome. But it's the semicolon. I want you to know that I know after, however, there's a semicolon, or no, before however, there's a semicolon, and after however, there's a comma. I just want you to know that I know that. And I know you know that. This is just me talking to you. All right. So there's 4 different revenue streams from every book, but then there are multiple retailers. So this morning I got an email from Draft to Digital, and they said, here are your royalties from this one channel that we distributed your books through. So Draft to Digital is an aggregator and a distributor. And so they distribute to Apple and Barnes and Noble, and they do distribute to Amazon, but I go direct to Amazon, Scribed, and then Tolino and audiobooks. And then there's the audiobooks, which can be through ACX and Find Away Voices, and then, you know, if you're lucky, Podium. So there are all the different ways that your book can generate business just as a book, but it's an elevator. So what you're talking about is the fact that somebody already knew about you, but they did not know about you. Right. They did not perceive you as the authority because you weren't yet an author. And once you are an author, it never fails. So you and I know a lot of authors. And so we're not like, oh, you're an author. Ooh, we're kind of like, so what? How many books have you written? Right. Or if you're in my house, it's like, honey, I have a book launch on Monday. And he's like, yeah. So you have a book launch like every week. Like, I don't
Which
even
one?
Yeah. Which one? Which book are you launching? I don't even care. So it's different. But for all of the world, for most of the world, writing and publishing a book is a huge deal. And there's a reverence that comes with it. There's a respect that comes with it. And so what happened with you is this person in your network was like, yeah, I know Lucas. He's the course guy. Oh, wait a minute. I know Lucas. He's the course guy who's an author. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of an, oh, there will come a day, like I do with You Must Write a Book, that you will be able to tally up where all the revenue or how much revenue has come. When I talk about You Must Write a Book, that was published in 2016, that will, as of the end of February, be 6 books, 3 courses, and a mastermind. That will be an 8-figure business, right? 8 figures total over years from all of the revenue that has come from that book and the other assets that I've created around it. It's not to be underestimated. It's just to be respected and to be continued.
I love it. Love it. I think it also, gives people a very accessible way to learn about your business. It's a low dollar entry point.
Yep.
It doesn't require one-on-one. So if you're the kind of person that's like, hey, I just want to learn, I don't want to be talked with and all the things.
Right. Yeah. I'm not ready to talk to someone.
Yep.
Right. I'm not ready to talk to someone. So I want to have a private conversation with you. And so this is my dog shaking my table.
Rogue, what's up?
Oh, baby. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. She's like, I know you're busy. I know you have things on the desk I want. Like, let's make a deal. So a book allows someone to get to know you. That middle part, I mean, the optimization piece where you give away something and someone can get on your email list, that starts that conversation. People don't know if they want to have a conversation with you. They want something free. Mm-hmm. They want tips, strategies, tools, ideas, something they can download, something they can use. They do not care about you yet because they don't know you. Or as I used to say when I was teaching my clients about networking, I would say, when you first meet someone, don't tell them your whole story. It's not that they don't care. It's that they don't care. Mm-hmm. They don't care yet because they don't know you. You're not in that circle of people that they're like, I wonder how they're doing. I wonder what they're up to, right? They're not friends with you. They're not thinking about you later. So they don't know that. So the optimization piece is really the opportunity to begin that relationship. It's before even the first date. The content of the book allows them to have a conversation with you without you being there. Mm. Right? It's like, I'm going to go into my private space and I'm going to read these words and I'm going to see if I like you. I'm going to just see, do you have a sense of humor? Do you have knowledge and expertise? Do you have something that I want? And if you demonstrate that, then they get to the back of their book and they're like, what else you got, Lucas? Hit me again.
Yep.
Yeah. They only care when they care to care. And they just, it's like going on a date with someone, a first date or a first coffee date or a meeting, and just going bleh, right, just throwing up in their trash can, and they're like, I already had all the people that I cared about before I came to meet with you, and I don't know if I want to care about you. Hold the phone, right? Like, settle down. So
Yeah.
the book really gives them the opportunity to cross that trust bridge, or to get on the trust bridge of like, you know what? I think I like you. I think I could trust you. I think I want to give you more money. What else do you have? And then we get to the monetization part. We get to the maximization part where it's like, okay, so if I know you, I think I know you, I think I like you, and I think I trust you. Where do I go from here?
Hmm.
And other books don't offer that opportunity in the ways that it can.
Hmm.
Right? So that's where I have a lot of fun, just really diving into what my clients want. Thank you, Karen. What my clients want their book to do. And that goes back to, what's the job of the book, right? Job one is to help somebody. And then job two is to help them to see if they want to get to know you better. And sometimes all they're going to do is read your book and say, I read your books and I'm a big fan and thank you so much. Goodbye. And other people are going to say, I read your book. It made an impact. I'm interested in having a conversation. How do we do that?
Right.
Or I bought your course.
Right.
Right? You ask the question like, thanks for buying my course. How did you find me? Oh, I read your book first.
Yeah.
People are very savvy now. They do a lot of stalking.
Hmm.
Right? They do a lot of like listening
Research.
to podcasts and reading the website and being on the email list. I had someone email me today about EBM, and she just said, here's all the things I'm doing. And I've read this book, and I read Lucas's book. She said, I read Lucas's book.
That poor thing. She survived.
And she survived. No potential EBM members were harmed. But she went through the whole thing, and she said, I've watched your TEDx talk, and I've done this, and I've done that. Like, she's done her due diligence. Like, people are very savvy with their money and with their time. And your book gives them the opportunity to have some of their questions, their basic questions, answered before they feel willing to have a conversation with you. And I feel like a book now, especially the Better Business book, because of the way I've designed it, really can exponentially accelerate that process for people, which is why I love doing it. So thanks for asking all the questions, Lucas.
Yeah. I mean, I love this stuff, and to me as a business owner, it's you're looking at an investment. You're thinking, I'm getting ready to undertake this significant investment of time and money and energy and all the things, but what's on the backside of that investment for me? And when you start thinking about the return on investment, it's about so much more than just what the book will potentially earn you in money. There's so much about brand and authority and representation in your industry and all that stuff,
Yep.
and that, I mean, how do you how do you estimate the value of that financially? I mean, it could be life changing for your business. Of course, you have
Yeah.
to put the book in the right places and do the right things with it and get the right people talking about it and do all the work on marketing. But I mean,
Okay.
I don't want
All
people to
right.
think like, I hit print now. It's like you've
No,
got,
there is no, the auto
yeah,
magically becoming an author part is the easy part for the author. But I
right,
make no mistake, one of the first parts of a conversation I have with someone is like, I will make you an author and I will give you the best book that can possibly be given, with a marketing plan that will blow your mind.
yeah,
20 pages of how you can monetize this book. But if you take those things and you put them on your desk and you don't take action on them, the book will languish and it will have been a waste of your money.
yep, absolutely.
Thank you, Karen.
And that's, I mean, I think that that's a really powerful moment of realization for a business owner, because you recognize that same condition in almost anything that's worth something in your business.
Right.
And that really kind of shows you why the book is so powerful, is because it can be life altering if you use it. And that, just having the potential conversation about that is so different than making another decision in your business that might cost a lot of money, that just may move the needle a little bit, even if you put all your effort into it. Like,
Right.
there's so much more that you can gain from it, on a personal and a professional level, than a lot of the other things that we invest in our businesses. So, really cool. Okay, so that whole conversation, obviously leads to the conversation about writing, and we've talked a lot about writing books and all the different ways you can market your book on the podcast and here on the live streams. But you've had a little bit of an interesting project in development, and it's going to be out very soon.
Yeah, Monday.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that? It's related to this art we call writing.
Yeah. So this is the book.
Dun, dun, dun.
There is no such thing as writer's block. And you can see I have a flag in here. So this is a review copy that I'm going through with my little fine tooth comb to, oh, actually, this is just the page I'm on. Nothing wrong with this book. Nothing wrong with this book, but I do use the flags to find things that need to be changed. So there is no such thing as writer's block was a pretty in-your-face question that I posted because it's a question I get all the time on podcasts and summits and in conversation. It's like, oh, do you have writer's block? Do you believe in writer's block? I'm like, I suppose it exists because we're talking about it, but I don't have it. And so I really got into the weeds of why do people have writer's block, or do they have writer's block? If they don't have writer's block, then what is it? And if they have it, how do they get out of it? And if they have some kind of other block, how do they get out of that?
And this is part of a book series. So you've had, let me see if I can get them all. I think I'm going to be missing one. Write your first nonfiction book.
Yes.
Then, and this is where I'm trying to remember what the second book was. I know book 3 and 4. Write your first nonfiction book. The best-selling book for me is number 3. Number 4 is there's no such thing as writer's block. What was book number 2?
The action guide.
Oh, the action guide. Okay.
The write your first nonfiction book.
Nonfiction book action guide. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So together, when you have these 3 books, and are they the size of your better business books?
They are 4 by 7, 15,000 words, so you can make it look professional. This size was my first book that I did in this size was very intentional. More intentional now than even back then. But as a coach, I was networking and I would hand someone a copy of my book, Gentleman in a Suit Jacket. And where did they put it? They put it in their inside suit jacket pocket. So I had to make it fit. So it fits in that inside suit jacket pocket. That was the dimensions. Don't share that. Don't share that, Jen. It's not Monday.
Take down your post.
That's right.
So this book launches on Monday.
This book launches officially on Monday.
At that point, it'll be available.
Oh,
no. At that point, it'll be available to everyone and their mom.
Yep.
Your mom needs a better business book, guys. She really does.
That's right.
So get mom a copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that. Thanks, Jen. I think one of the coolest things about this book is I don't care if you're writing fiction, nonfiction, if you're a copywriter, it doesn't matter what you do for a living.
Screenwriter, songwriter, copywriter, blogger, columnist.
Yep.
Every single type of person that is writing professionally gets, right? If you're writing your dissertation, you might get stuck. Yep. And you need to understand how to get unstuck and get unstuck immediately. So that's why I'm really, one of the reasons I'm really excited about this book. But we'll talk about it more next week, Lucas. We're out of time. We're like out of time and out of time.
Twice. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Come back next Thursday, live, noon Eastern time here. LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, all the places. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Renee, Jen, Wayne.
Wayne.
We had a guest today. Was it Maria? I'm trying to remember names.
Renee, Megan.
Megan.
I should know that. I had a fantastic assistant named Megan. So Megan, thank you for watching. Renee, thank you for watching and listening and bringing a friend. I will see you in 1 week.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Make sure you subscribe, like all the things, and we'll see you next week.